All right, so I'm starting with this blank canvas here, and I'm gonna go ahead and type something out. All right, in all caps, I'm gonna do Nick Q graphic design. I'm gonna go ahead and choose my font, Texicali, and I'm gonna blow this up and outline it, and then make these all the same width. All right, so this is gonna be the text that I use to create this 3D graphic. Simple, easy, very easy to understand. All right, I'm gonna pick a interesting color here, and I'm gonna go ahead and select this and go up to Effect, 3D and Materials, and select Extrude and Bevel. So you can see that it immediately gets this off-axis front view, and you can see the 3D that it's created. Of course, it doesn't look really realistic or great or anything like that because this is just the default settings and this is not rendered yet. So when you're working with 3D, you get like a preview of your image, and then when you are finished with it and you're satisfied, you can render it out, and then it'll show you the realism that the 3D program uses to create textures and lighting and all of those like nice fancy things at the end. When you have your object selected, it pulls up this navigation menu here, and if you select right in the center, you can see that it says rotate freeform. Actually, this is me just hovering over it, but if I click on it, I can actually just adjust every rotational aspect of this 3D graphic here. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that and come back to this off-axis front. So this is the 3D and Materials panel, and it starts off in the Object section. Here you can choose if you want to make it a 3D plane so that there is no depth to it. You can extrude so there is depth, and you can revolve, and I probably shouldn't have clicked that, but basically this would be something useful if you were working with a shape that had a symmetrical axis. Like let's say you were making a bowl. You can make a bowl very easily, and actually I will just show you how. So I'm going to make this very, very simple path here, and it's not even going to be extremely symmetrical, but essentially this is meant to represent what half of my bowl would look like. And if I take this object and I click revolve, you can see that it takes that and it actually creates the rest of the symmetry for that shape. So you can create this 3D bowl. Completely not necessary for this tutorial, but I just want to show you the different options. And then also the last one is inflate, which kind of blows up your artwork like a balloon and creates this like super rounded look here. We are going to stick with extrude for today. And now this slider here controls the depth. So you can actually expand this as far or as shallow as you would like. I'm going to keep this one pretty close to the default, but I just like this thickness myself. So the cap here, this will give you a hollow appearance if you select it. I'm not going to do it. I don't need it. I usually don't. I'm going to check bevel so that way we can round out these corners a little bit. So I'm going to change my bevel shape here to round, but there are other options here, like the round outline will give you these little like stroke effects over the top. But actually, oops, I'm going to go back to round, and you can see that it just gives those corners like a little rounded beveled edge. And I'm actually going to decrease the width a lot just so you can see that it's barely there. And this is kind of, you know, what most things in the world look like. They have this like subtle round edge, even if they're supposed to be very sharp. All right, so you can also adjust the height of your bevel. You can adjust the repeat of your bevel. So if you have outlines, it'll adjust, you know, different steps and give you multiple outlines. I'm not going to mess with any of that stuff right now. There's also these presets for the way you see the rotation. Right now, the default is the off-axis front, but if you did off-axis left, it would show you from that area. If you do bottom, it'll flip it, you know, all this stuff. You can experiment with all of these settings as much as you want, but I'm going to stick to the off-axis front default and maybe adjust some of these sliders a little bit to get a little bit more of a custom view, but keeping it in that same general direction. To make sure I have this selected, and I'm going to hop over to the materials tab. Now, the materials tab comes with a lot of default materials that you can actually just click once and it'll apply it directly to your text. It's super cool. It's super easy. These things are maybe not the best, but it's a lot of options that you get for free. There are a lot of resources out there where you can just Google like free 3D materials and find stuff, but the really good ones you have to pay for. So for this one, I'm actually just going to select one of the defaults, and I'm going to choose this smooth lace trowel stucco. It kind of gives it a little bit of a concrete texture, but what I like about this is that once you've selected it, you can actually adjust your color here. So I'm going to click on this color tab. I'm going to change my color closer to what I had originally. How about this? Let's double click on my swatch and copy the hex code number there and paste it in here and see if we can get a better look. Okay, cool. I'm feeling that. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to turn my color variation down just a little so we don't get so much of this yellow mixed in with this orange, and maybe even just a little bit more. Also going to turn down my roughness. And you won't see too much of this change, but there are little like subtle touches that you can do by adjusting these things. Each one of these materials has their own sort of settings that you can adjust. Like since this one has this trowel texture, you can actually adjust how much of it is showing there, and the direction, the density. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like you can just sit here and play around with these things as long as your computer can handle it. Mine's doing pretty good right now, but I don't want to jinx it. All right, so I'm going to leave the rest of these as their default settings, and I'm just going to skip right over to the lighting tab. All right, so the default standard light is coming from the top right, and you can kind of see that by where these highlights are hitting on this material and where the shadows are showing. So that's pretty good lighting for me. I'm not mad at it, but what I do want to do is turn on my shadows. You can see that it creates this shadow that hits behind this object by default, but I'm going to change the position here, and I'm going to select below object, and you're going to see that it changes the way that the lighting hits it, and that the shadow is now placed on the ground below this stacked text. So now I'm going to come here to this rotation for my light preset, and I'm going to turn it down until the light is facing the direction that I want it to be, or the shadow is. And now here's where it gets important for the like realism part of it. I turn my softness way up, like pretty close to 100. I'm going to do like 90 right now. You won't really see too much of the adjustment before you do the render. The shadow still looks like crisp, but the softness is going to make it really nice whenever you actually have it rendered out. So I'm going to select this again. I'm actually going to increase my ambient light barely, and I'm going to move the height slider to the right a little bit. Now, I think this is going to do what I want it to do. However, I am going to adjust the color of this light because I have this nice orange here. I want to contrast it with something that you may not be expecting, but I'm going to throw a little bit of a blue greenish tint in there. I'm going to click OK, and you'll see that my tone changes slightly. And now for the final thing here, I'm going to go ahead and hit render. Now, this almost blew up my computer last time, but I feel like it's doing okay. And now you can see how this thing looks rendered out. And the realism increased a lot as soon as I hit that, but it's still not quite where I want it to be. But I don't want to take the render preview off because I want to see what it looks like in real time. This is really going to slow my computer down, but I'm totally fine with it because I want to see and fix things here. So first of all, I'm going to up my intensity of my light so that it doesn't dull out as much as it was. So now I got a little bit more of the color in there, and I'm liking this. Also, you can see that the shadow gets cut off right here. So I'm going to increase the shadow bounds to about 160, and that's actually going to take this invisible box and move it out so that you can see more of your shadow. You can see that it's still getting cut off over here on this side, but it's outside of my artboard, so it's actually not that big of a deal. All right, I think I might increase the ambient light a little bit more and see if that brightens up my graphic. And yeah, I think that is a lot closer to what I was hoping this was going to look like. All right, so I think this looks super awesome. It's like got the perfect, like, you know, real, like I should put real in quotes because it's not super real, because you don't have as many options for the lighting and things that you would if you were working in an actual 3D program and doing, you know, a full setup for how it's lit and the background and all that stuff. But for just working entirely in Adobe Illustrator, I think this looks really awesome. But I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm going to take this into Photoshop, and I'm going to adjust some of the colors in there. So let's save this file, export a transparent PNG. All right, so now I have my transparent PNG opened in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you what I did on the last one of these renders that I did and made the colors exactly how I wanted them to look. So the first thing I did was create a background color, something with a slight warm tone, maybe a little orangish, so that this can contrast on that and it's not just like a bright white. Then I duplicate this layer by pressing Command J after selecting it, and I changed my transparency mode to overlay. Now it's a little bit hot, so I go ahead and lower the opacity, but you can see that like the colors are super vibrant. And the thing I like the most is that these shadows are way less dull than they are without this here. So then the next thing that I did was I created a new layer, and I selected a very soft brush. So this one is a soft, round, and pressure sensitive brush. And then I took a color, something like a blue or orange, and I actually just painted a little bit of detail around certain parts of the graphic. And so what I did was I just kind of painted roughly where the darkest like shadows are. And then I took this layer and I changed it to subtract. And then I clipped this layer by holding Option and clicking between these two layers. So now it's only going to show this over the layer that it's clipped to. And then from here, I adjusted my opacity a little bit more. And you can see that you get these nice hot spots, like these darker orange colors where you've painted. Now, I think that this really just elevates that default Illustrator 3D look. I mean, it looks really awesome, but it's a little bit flat. So adding these colors and adjusting things and just playing with it, I mean, you could go all out and you could really redraw over all of your highlight areas, your shadows, darken up things that you want, and just really make this customized to what you need it to be. All right, guys, that's it for this one. It was short and sweet, but I hope it helps out. I hope that you get some use out of these new 3D tools in Illustrator. I gotta say, after I played with it some more, it seems to have a lot more value than I really thought it would at the beginning when I first saw these and when I made my first video. So I'm super glad that I took another look at it because I think it's gonna be really helpful for my projects in the future. All right, guys, thanks so much for checking this video out. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, please consider subscribing. I make a lot of tutorial videos for Photoshop and Illustrator, and a lot of them go specifically to help you create t-shirts and merchandise for your brands, bands, small businesses, whatever you have. And you can also hit that little bell icon down there so that way you can be notified every time I release another video like this. Also, hitting that like button helps me out substantially because it tells YouTube that this is a quality video, and then it'll start to show it to other people that it thinks might also like this video. If you guys want to grab my font that I used in this example, I sell my fonts on my personal website, nickqart.com, and they're only $3. You can also follow me on Instagram at nickq and TikTok at nickq83. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks again, and like always, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.